Screen with you guys. Okay. Alrighty. Super. All right. Well, there's never like any good spot to put all your faces. Okay. All right, so before we get into it, I just kind of wanted to jump into the Success Club trip that's coming up next year and kind of remind you guys of it and kind of celebrate the people who have started to take steps towards this big goal as well. So this trip is super exciting. Beachbody has one every year for people who consistently hit Success Club in the business. You can earn this trip, and basically everything's included aside from your flight to get to the destination. So these are actual photos of where we're going. It's a trip to Haiti as well as the Bahamas, I believe. A 5-day cruise, and this is actually the room we would be staying in as well. It's like an ocean view balcony room that I chose, so that's where we'd be staying, except this would be like 2 beds. But it's like a crazy cruise. It's the biggest cruise ship, at least in the US. I don't know about anywhere else, and these are actual pictures of like what the cruise ship looks like. It has a freaking water park on it, like insane. So some of the ladies who have kind of taken some steps already towards earning my +1 spot on this trip, as I've offered for you guys, is Ronnie, Marina, Sherry, and Allison. They all have 2 or 3 coaches under them at this point and have voiced that they're working towards this big goal. So just super exciting. I was talking to Jen a little bit about this, and Mandy, my upline as well, that like part of my kind of was like a surprise for me, but one of my favorite parts of this business has really become just being able to be a part of like you guys growing and helping to support you guys, and just that team aspect and helping you guys be successful. So this is just really exciting for me to be able to offer something so big, I guess, also as well, to celebrate your successes and really just show my appreciation for you guys and the work that you put in. So I wanted to get into it a little bit deeper just so you kind of know what you're working towards, especially the newer coaches on the team that have this big goal, what it actually looks like. And I just think the visual is helpful in that aspect. So to be a diamond coach, you need 8 active coaches under you, 4 on each side. So if you look at the picture, that's what it looks like. So you have 4 on your left leg and 4 on your right leg, and it's basically just like a big family tree. And then under you, you'd also have 2 emerald coaches. So it doesn't matter who on each side turns into an emerald coach, as long as you have 1 on each side, which means that they each have 2 coaches under them. And they can be discount coaches or working coaches. So it can be someone who just really loves the workout programs, really loves the products, and has literally just signed up in order to get that coaching discount and save money. It still counts as having that coach under you and having that spot. All right, so then why diamond? I think one of the exciting things of being a diamond coach is that you're really starting to just like grow your tribe of people, having people that you really connect with and that you have a lot of similarities with and that are just like your people. Some of them really become like your closer friends, and you have these people who have a similar vision as you, and just having people to really run together and work the business together and support each other is just a completely different feeling. And you're really starting to take the business seriously. You're building your team, you're taking steps to really make this a full-time income. You're starting to build more residual income, so you're really starting to accrue more of like a team cycle bonus, and there's much more opportunity involved. Like there's so many more trainings and incentives and so much more opportunity when you become a diamond coach. And just, it's really crazy. Like you can be set up with a like corporate mentor. So someone literally from Beachbody corporate can be assigned to you to help mentor you and grow your business even more once you're a diamond coach. There's specific like diamond groups where you have like specific kind of mastermind calls for people who are at that further point in their business, really taking this seriously and wanting to grow it. So you can really just hash things out and share like strategies and grow together. And there's just this huger like community of support, even more than what you experience now. So that's just an awesome, I guess, little addition as well. But it's, for me, like the first big step towards a full-time income, really. And I think, at least when I went diamond, it's just, you feel more like legitimate, I guess. Like you're like, I'm doing these things, I'm taking this step, like, yes, I'm a diamond coach. Like it just feels so good. And you have like this little community that you've built, and it's really kind of the building block of the business, I feel like, is going diamond. That's when your business kind of switches. And I was listening to this training call today from Ashley Molstad, and she was talking about how this business starts as like you're pushing a boulder uphill, and it just feels like you're pushing it uphill and you're by yourself, and like it's a lot of work at first. And then you start adding people to your team, and all of a sudden it's you and like 2 other people pushing this boulder up the hill. And you keep adding people, and like maybe some people leave, but there's more people pushing this boulder up the hill with you, so it becomes easier. It's not as strenuous. And then eventually you reach the top, and you've gained all this momentum, and it gets so much easier at that point, and you have this bigger community of support, and you wind up putting in, what did she say? She said, you're putting in way less work, and the compensation and reward you receive from that is just unreal. And so it switches from like you putting in all this work at the beginning and all this work up front and laying down all this groundwork to build this foundation and build this momentum until you finally just like take off. And I feel like diamond was really that point for me where my business kind of tipped over that like peak of the hill, and you finally start like gaining that momentum and moving forward. So that is just, I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit. And I also want to say, like, if you are just like coach rank now, like there's no coaches under you, you're like a 1-person team, this is still a completely legitimate goal for you and a big exciting goal to have. And you are more than capable of obtaining this. And I think Holly Hillier said like she built her husband's account to diamond in 2 weeks. I've seen coaches do it in a month. I've seen them do it in 3 weeks. So it really has to do with how willing you are to kind of push for that goal and how much work and time you're willing to put into it to make it happen. And then I wanted to support you guys in reaching this for the ones who have this big goal of reaching diamond and earning that trip. So our next steps, I am running a coaching information session next week on Wednesday and Thursday. So your action items are to invite like a monster, add any of your prospects to the group. So I will share the link to you guys, but it's the same group that I've been using. So some of you probably already have it, but I will share that with you guys, and aim to add about 10 people or more to the group. So any prospects you have, invite as many people as you can from now until Wednesday, add them in there, and make sure you talk to them throughout the session. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about coaching and the opportunity, but just continue that conversation and make sure that you're building a relationship with them. To build that trust, and that is so important, to not just throw them in there and then like stop the conversation completely. Like when videos go up, make sure you're checking in, you're saying the video went up, and to see how they're feeling about everything. All right, so that brings me to our actual call. All right, so getting organized and crushing our goals. Great. So first thing is staying focused. I think it's so easy to get distracted by things that aren't necessarily going to move you forward in this business. Like Angie calls them like the shiny objects or like the fluffy things, like scrolling through Instagram or your news feed on Facebook, or getting caught up in watching just like training video after training video, but not actually taking like action from what you learn. So I always say that you should focus on your least favorite task first and make sure that you get it done, because chances are your least favorite is something that's going to move your business forward the most. And usually it's inviting for like everyone. And it's the thing that like once you've finished everything else on your list, if you like run out of time, then you're like, oh, I guess I don't have to get to that. And so these things that move our business forward the most, like inviting and the connections and all those things that we don't like, they wind up getting pushed towards the back of our to-do list, and then they wind up like not happening, and we're like, oh, we'll just do it tomorrow. But then you wind up kind of accruing, like instead of having to do like 3 invites a day, all of a sudden by the end of the week you have like 20 invites you have to do or whatever it is, because you haven't done them, and then you have things to catch up on. So I always say, they call it like eat the frog, doing your least favorite things first to make sure they're just like done and out of the way. And also focusing on one task at a time. I think it's really easy to kind of be like scatterbrained and kind of do like a couple new combos, a couple invites, a couple like looking at like checking into your Facebook group or checking the group chat or like doing all these random things. And then you get to like the end of the day and you're like, what did I even really do? Because you haven't actually like finished anything. You've just done like a little bit of a lot of things. So focusing on one thing at a time. And then this is kind of like step 1 again, but what moves your business forward should be the top priority. The rest is for when you have extra time. So if you work full time, or you go to school full time, or both, or you work multiple jobs, or whatever it is, like you have limited time, make sure that the time that you do have is focused on the things that are going to help you grow. So those are the things like the vital behaviors, making sure that you're posting on your page something, throwing up something on there once a day, like an actual post on your page, not just on Instagram stories, even if it's just to talk about like what you're doing that day. Make sure you're doing your invites and responding to your messages. I feel like those are like the top things that you should make sure you're doing. And then if you want to do some professional development, or you want to do some trainings or whatever else it is with your free time that you have left, go for it. But make sure you're focusing on the things that are going to help you grow first, especially when you don't have that much time to spend. And then run your business like a business. So really tracking what you're doing. And I personally, I don't have my planner next to me, but I'll make checklists for each day of the things that I have to get done, and just like check them off as I go to make sure that I do everything. And sometimes I'll even, if I'm like feeling super organized, I'll time out and write next to it like how much time I'm giving to each task, and like plan out my day that way to make sure that I can get everything done in the amount of time that I have. So whatever your form of like organization is that works for you, making a checklist, using a planner, setting a timer for things. So if you have like 15 minutes to get your invites done or whatever, setting a timer on your phone for 15 minutes and making sure that you're not like getting distracted by things, and you're focusing on sending those invites for 15 minutes, and then you're done and you can move on to the next thing. Okay, so this is called the Power of 3. I made this little like tracker thing for you guys, but I think I'm gonna make like a weekly one as well. So this is just a daily checklist. At least when I first started, I just wanted like something to follow. When I was in school, I was always like a rubric person. I was just like, just give me the steps and the things that I need to hit so I know I can succeed and I'm good. So when I started coaching, I was kind of like, I don't know like exactly what I should do. Like, I just want like this step-by-step thing of like, do this each day, and like, that's what you need to focus on. So this is something I hope will be helpful for you guys. It's called the Power of Three, and it basically just breaks down things to focus on each day, and you can check them off as you go. So 3 new follows, 3 new conversations, 3 follow-ups, 3 invites to an online bootcamp, and 3 invites to the coaching opportunity. And then I'm gonna somehow make this like a weekly thing too, so that way you can kind of track how many things you've done by the end of the week, and you can check it off daily and then kind of total it at the end, and you can see, I guess, where you've kind of been slacking or where there's less checks, so you can kind of see what's more challenging for you and probably what you need to do more of, and so you know where to kind of put your efforts, and if you haven't been seeing success, kind of like where you need to step it up in that area. But I just find these really kind of helpful and like a tangible thing to follow, and you can, I'll post this in the team group so you can like screenshot it, save it to your computer or whatever. And if you want to use this, like you can send it to me and I can hold you accountable, or you can find another girl on the team and send it to them. You can send it to each other daily and kind of just like talk about what you guys have been doing, like where you're finding trouble, and like get advice from each other there and hold each other accountable in that way, either or. And have set business hours without distractions, where you're literally just like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, set yourself up in your space, however you work best. Like, I always work best if I have something going in the background, like music or the TV on or something, so I have something kind of like block out so I can zero in better. But like, whatever your ideal like work environment is, set that up and set your business hours. And then you finish everything on your list and you're done for the day. I think it's really easy in this business to kind of just like do a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and then like you've spent your whole day working and you haven't necessarily been that like efficient or like gotten that much done either. And I think it's really easy to kind of muddle that line of like work-life balance as well. So I think setting business hours where you just sit down and you get it done, and that's all you focus on, and then you move on and you go live your life. Instead of like drawing it out and feeling like you always have to be on your phone or always have to be responding to things or always have to be present, make sure that you are dedicating enough time to this business daily, but also make sure that you're making enough time for yourself. And track your conversations. I cannot tell you how many people I probably missed out on helping because I was just a disorganized mess and I did not keep track of the people I was talking to, and missed out on so many follow-up opportunities and just lost so many people in the beginning. So figure out how you can best track your conversations and who you've talked to about the coaching opportunity or joining a boot camp, and write them down. So even if they say it's not for them, you have that list of people to follow up with. And I put an unorganized business is a poorly run business, because you're literally losing out on people that you could possibly help and that you've already kind of planted those seeds with and had those conversations started with. So starting out, I used pen and paper a lot, but that can, once you start having a lot of conversations, that can get very messy very quickly and hard to keep track of. So that can be good in the beginning, but I definitely think it is worthwhile to switch over to something like Google Sheets or Google Streak. Even if you aren't using, a lot of coaches use email for Google Streak, because you can just type up one email and send it to a whole list of people that way, so it's very efficient. But even if you aren't talking to people through email, I think Google Streak is a great way to just have everybody's, you can log people's Instagram usernames in there, and you can type up little comments about, so you can click on their name and see exactly what you guys have talked about before, and just have that kind of running log of everyone you've talked to, so you don't have to read back through an entire conversation and like see what you've covered with them before. You can just like have quick notes there to look back on and keep it all organized that way. And then Asana is an app that I know some coaches use, which is kind of similar to Streak, where you can just track people that way. Or you can use just like the notes in your phone if that works for you, and or mark it in a planner or calendar. Like if you talk to someone and they say like right now it's not a good time for them, I'll ask like when they think it'll be a better time for them, and I'll mark that in my calendar or my planner to follow up with them on that day. Or if they don't give me an exact date, I'll just like put it for the next month. Like when I have my next boot camp or whatever, I'll put like follow up boot campers, and I'll have a list of people there. So I know that that next month I have to follow up with that whole list of people. So whatever you think works best for you, I think it's very individual, so gotta explore your options. And then match your actions to your goals. So I think it's very easy to kind of say like you have certain goals, you want to reach certain ranks, you want to make this like a full-time business, or you want to make this like a side thing or whatever, supplement your income, whatever your goal is. I think it's so easy to say we have these goals, and then a lot of people just kind of don't do what's required to reach them. So make sure that if you have these big goals, that your first priority every day is hitting those vital behaviors, is doing those things that you don't really like as much, because those are the things that are going to help you move forward and reach those goals, and get them out of the way so that way you can like focus on the things that you enjoy more the rest of the time. But making sure that you're being productive. Hey, stop chewing on the chair. Sorry. That you're being productive with your time, and really making sure that you're not just scrolling through your feed or doing those like fluffy kind of buffer activities that make you feel like you're working when you're actually not. So that is kind of just my last little tidbit for you guys. So I don't know if you guys really have any questions on that. See if I can stop screen sharing. Okay.